Yo, what is up, everybody? This is your boy Kendall from The Uneducated Truth. Definitely thank you for tuning in. And this is going to be my full actual spiritual breakdown of the movie Sinners. I'm just going to read it, what I have. Like I said, I originally had like 21 pages of just everything I saw. And this is I'm talking about the opening of the movie all the way to the very end, the end credits after everything, fam. So let me go ahead and jump right into it because like I said, I am on a time frame. So this is the full breakdown of the full biblical breakdown of Sinners. This is what I saw. So let's just bring it into some context, right? The movie, I found out that the movie came out like Friday. So I think like last week on maybe like we say the 18th or something like that. Pretty much it came out on Good Friday around like Easter weekend time. So just imagine that, right? The movie was released on Good Friday, which we already know there's nothing good about the crucifixion of the Messiah. So that's kind of a little oxymoron in itself. But on top of that, it was completely sold out. That movie was sold out on that Friday when it first came out. And what's wild is a lot of people don't really know, but Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is the actual Sabbath. That's the day that the Most High designated for us to rest. Like it says in Genesis, 6 days have I worked, but the seventh is a day of rest. That seventh was Saturday when you think about it. So it came out on a Friday, but it was sold out on a Sabbath, a day that everybody is meant to worship and rest and reflect for the Most High. So that's a big one right there. Yet this movie glorifies sinning. Like the name of it is Sinners, right? So another thing, it was released during Easter weekend. Honestly, that's a slap in the face to blacks. So not only is Easter this is my own diatribe, not only is Easter not biblical, but its connection to paganism makes it more ironic that a movie glorifying sin would actually be released during this time. And if you really want to know more about it, I can break that down, but look up Easter versus Passover. And honestly, if you really want more context, type in the ChatGPT, which is an AI program. It passes the bar. It is, surpassed doctors and different things like that. People use it daily with over 100 million users. Just ask it, did Christ and his disciples celebrate Easter or Passover? And the second question is Easter biblical? Ask all of them questions. But let's go back into it. Another big thing, right? This movie received an 8.2 rating on IMDb. So if you know IMDb, that's like the movie and TV show website that just shows you movie ratings. It also gives like who the cast are, gives you a little bit more about the movies and different things like that. So for this to actually receive an 8.2 rating, bro, sis, most films don't even receive above a 6 or a 7. I did the research. I asked, of course, ChatGPT. That's my virtual assistant. I talk to that little dude daily. And what's wild is 1% of movies actually receive an 8 rating or above. That's wild. Imagine, that's 600,000 movies that has actually received that title. But imagine how many movies have been going on from the dawn of time. So for this to equal an 8.2 rating, that shows honestly that America praises sin, bro. Like, it's wild. And then on top of that, when you think about it, Domain Entertainment are the people that actually produced it, right? That's a very interesting name. So just imagine, considering spiritual domains and territories, are they trying to claim your own domain? Kind of like a Jujutsu Kaisen, like domain expansion, and you are within their world. You feel me? Domain Entertainment. They are bringing you into their world, not, you existing in your own. They're capturing your eyes, your spirit, and bringing you into their domain. So let's go into the opening scene, right? So they had music, the opening and music symbolism. So it opens up, you see all of these different, all these different musicians and, different things going on from all different cultures and all different times, right? So They talk about, so the narrator says that people are born with musical talents that are so strong they can pierce between life and death. They can summon spirits from both the past and the future. It speaks of different cultures, right? So you got Ireland, how they said that the musicians were called fillies, the Shoto lands with the Indians, how they're called fire kings, and in West Africa, how they're called griots, who were pretty much historians and musical storytellers. They said music can attract healing or evil. This is their words. They said this in the movie, and we all know that to be true. They said music can attract healing or evil, right? So that is the dual nature of music. Then the title, as soon as they said all they piece, and as soon as they said that attract or evil, boom, all you see is the title Sinners pop across the screen. And what's even wilder, a lot of people probably didn't pay attention because I watched it at the library where I can pause and stop. It came on the screen at 1:11. That's a number often associated with new beginnings or spiritual awakening. Is that a coincidence or not? Nah, that ain't no coincidence. Hollywood executives, musical executives are very calculated with everything that they do, whether that's numerology, whether that's time frame, everything. They're calculated. So for Sinners itself to pop across at 1:11, nah, bro, that was not a coincidence. So let's go to the setting, right? You got Clarksdale, Mississippi in 1932. So it opens up with a boy named Sammy. Sammy is the preacher's son. But what we see, it kind of opened up like a BET movie, right? It started with the end and then showed you everything that happened later. So what's wild is Sammy, the preacher's son, is shown bloodied and defeated. He returns to a white church building. So though the congregation is black, they're all melanated like I am, right? However, they're all dressed in white. Literally everybody there is dressed in white, which is a sign of purity. While the pastor is dressed in black, a dark contrast. I don't know what that was really supposed to mean right there, but I'm pretty sure it has a deeper spiritual meaning. Now, also you see 3 black crosses are on the wall behind the pastor. You have one on, this is my left, one on the left side, one on the right side, and then one directly above him. So could this mean the Holy Trinity? Or could this be a mockery of something that they, trying to portray with a deeper meaning? So the next thing we see is the church is singing "This Little Light of Mine," and the pastor welcomes his son back like the prodigal son. But the pastor says, "My son has found the," let me use an old voice, "My son has found the call of sin." No, I was just playing. He said, "My son has found the call of sin." But the good Lord calls us to be wary of men that sin. So he tells Sammy, he tells his son, he tells him to renounce his sin in front of witnesses, aka the congregation. He says, in the name of God, promise to me and promise to the congregation that you will put this down. So he said, drop the guitar, Sammy. Let it go. In the name of God, put it down. That guitar that Sammy could not let go of, even though we see this man, the guitar is broken in his hand. I'm talking about it's just a handle, strings sprout everywhere, literally blood everywhere on this man. He just went through an entirely wild night. But guess what? He couldn't drop the guitar. That guitar symbolized temptation, rebellion, and the path to sin. So next, we see Sammy in the cotton fields, right? Still spiritual and joyful, even in his suffering. That just shows you like our people have always been spiritual, even during our hardships. Always been happy to a certain extent during our hardships. So you see him humming and singing, saying, "I'll see you at the service." A powerful reflection to black endurance and spirit. Now, granted, I'm gonna bring that out in my later, because I'm gonna actually do this again with visuals, and I'm gonna actually go over everything I wrote. This is the refined version from ChatGPT, but I do want to let you know, I'll see you at service, a powerful reflection of black endurance and spirit. So it didn't put it in here, but I'm gonna tell you that let us know that that day was a Saturday, right? Like I told you earlier, Saturdays are the days for rest for the Most High. That is his Sabbath. But, for Sammy to say, I'll see you at service, tomorrow I'll see you at service. And then on top of that, when I looked it up, a quick Google search, when you be like, hey, what day were the slaves allowed to rest? They were allowed to rest on Sunday. So this would indicate that he's finished all his work and that he's now, his father needs him to help him with the sermon tomorrow for Sunday. So all of this is going down on a Sabbath, pretty much. All of this craziness, this chaos, and this demonic stuff is going down on a Sabbath. So let's go into the next scene. You got a sense of duality, right? Smoke and Stack. So this is played by Michael B. Jordan, but he plays twins. One in blue, which is Smoke. One in red, which is Stack. One calm and wise, driven and when. So you have one that's calm and wise, right? And the other is the one that's driven by lust and impulse. That's Stack, the younger brother. Then it says, together they are buying a building from a white man. 2 free slaves buying land, yet it's an illusion. You don't really own anything. Next, fast forwarding, we see them pop the trunk, right? And there's a rattlesnake. Kind of, a little jump scare right there when you first see it. But there's a rattlesnake. So they decide to kill it. But what's wild is they zoom in on the last breath of the snake. And is this like, which is also like a symbol of temptation, judgment, and evil. And then on top of that, if you look at the spiritual meanings of their names, smoke, a remnant of fire, warning, or mystery, can mean wisdom or danger, which Smoke was wise. He was the main one that he survived throughout all of that. He told Sammy to stay on the right path. He tried to coerce his brother not to let them crazy people in, right? And on top of that, danger. We see what he did to all them white people at the very end of the movie. But now let's go into Stack. That's spiritual meaning, right? The name Stack means, stacking riches, stacking sin, or building without a foundation. Now we are back to the church. And you see Sammy talking to his pops, right? So Sammy returns to his father, who asks him to help with a sermon. So guess what? That sermon was 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. Now 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, there means there hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way that ye may be able to bear, that make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. What's wild is Sammy knows the scripture to the point where Sammy, he reading it and closed the book and still is able to spout it out. So Sammy knows this. Sammy knows the scripture. However, he still wants that taste of sin, right? So you also, and I'm gonna prove that in this next excerpt, because Sammy even replies, look, Pops, I just want to be free for one day. I worked hard all week. I just want to be free of all of this for one day. His father even rebukes him, right? He was like, where you gotta be, that's more important than the house of God. And Sammy was like, I just want to go play music, pretty much. And his father was like, so you can play for drunkards and fornicators. And he said some more, but this is the shorter version. So you want to play for drunkards and fornicators, dance with the devil. One day, the devil is going to follow you home. And guess what? He did just that. The crazy thing is he did just that. So let's fast forward, right? We see the twins pull up. Sammy joins them, choosing sin. Like I said, he was just in the house of the Most High. Yet he said, I want to be done with all this for one day. So he joined Smoke and Stack, aka joining into sin. So he chose that. Then he asked them, how was Chicago? And what's wild is they say, I came back to deal with the devil that I know. They mentioned the devil a lot within their movie. Granted, of course, back then they would call, certain people the devil, but still, the fact that they keep bringing this up alone during Easter weekend, all of that is no coincidence. Don't sleep on that. You feel me? Open your eyes. It said, They visit the black town, right? Oh, and then the next thing you see is they visit the black town. Yet one thing I noticed is dang near every store that we see was owned by Asians. So just think, we're in the hood, but we don't own it. And on top of it, you heard Smoke ask them, hey, you know, I'm opening up the juke joint. I need y'all to make like catfish for 100 people, right? So it said they prep for a catfish fry. But what does the Bible say? In Leviticus 11:9-12, we see it said, these shall ye eat, all that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales, them shall ye eat. And whatsoever hath not fins and scales, they shall be an abomination to you. Catfish is an abomination, people, and our people love it. But what did God say? There's certain things that we cannot celebrate, and there's certain things we cannot eat. That did not change even with Christ. But going back to that, now we're done with Smoke. We fast forward back to Stack and Sammy. And Stack, they're driving, right, in the cotton fields, and Stack is teaching him about lust and deception. So Stack is teaching Sammy about oral sex. Sammy asked Stack about the past, and we learned that Smoke killed their father to protect Stack. Then it says, Stack says that the guitar that he gave Sammy, like, oh, I see you still got that guitar. Can you play it? And, you know, Sammy pretty much held on to that guitar like his life depended on it. And Stack told him that the guitar came from this dude named Charlie Patton. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I didn't know who Charlie Patton was, so I had to ask Chat. I'm like, yo, Chat, who is that? And what's the spiritual significance of why Sammy didn't want to let go of that guitar? So he let me know. Who was Charlie Patton? Known as the father of Delta blues, Patton's guitar was legendary. His music was spiritual, painful, and deeply influential. The same thing with Sammy, right? Let's go on. So Sammy plays this song on the road called Traveling by Miles Kenton. Now, what is the spiritual meaning of that song that Sammy decided to play on the guitar? The spiritual meaning of traveling, it represents a spiritual drift, moving away from purpose. His music isn't just a song, it's a step into rebellion. And that's exactly what he did later on that night. So we also see more warnings. Stack and Sammy finally arrive into like this train section. I'm fast forwarding a lot, but I'll give you the full breakdown, like I said, later once I redo this with my words, incorporate the scriptures, other meanings, and put visuals together. So we're fast forwarding, and Stack recruits Slim, the drunk. Well, it's wild, right? Because Slim loses his mind over a beer, one single beer. And what's wild is one sip, and that man was hooked, just like many of our people hooked on vices. Now I'm gonna be real with you. If you are let's be honest. If you're a black person or a Negro or a Hebrew or African American, whatever y'all want to sum it up to, like, and you derive from the tribe of Judah, also the same tribe that Christ came from. Judah is the king tribe, right? Yet, remember I said the king's tribe. Yet Judah left the testament to his sons in the Apocrypha, or the testament of like the 12 tribes. Each brother left a testament for their descendants, and it's legit. Like the stuff that our forefather Judah said, we're dealing with to this day. He said, beware of strong drink, for through wine I was deceived, and I lay with the harlot who disguised herself. We lost the kingship through drunkenness, just like Slim. And what's crazy, fast forwarding, they recruit a man named Cornbread, right? Stack actually disrespects the heck out of Cornbread and his wife. Yet his wife tolerates it because of the almighty dollar. She's like, man, hold on. You know what I mean? Don't beat him up too bad. You feel me? How much money can we really make? Which just shows you like people will do anything for money. You feel me? And now let's go and fast forward to our boy Smoke. So we see Smoke dealing with witchcrafts and roots, or going to someone who deals with witchcrafts and roots. So Smoke visits his child's grave, and we also see that there is a bottle of milk, and a glass bottle, and a black totem. So what does this really mean? You know, because a lot of people just like, oh, you know, that's sweet, that's sad. He's going to go visit his, you know, his deceased child. Nah, the Southern folklore meaning of that. So you have milk, which is like a peace offering or comfort for the child's spirit, and then a totem is kind of like a spiritual barrier or a guide. Well, we also see his baby mama uses roots for protection to protect to protect Smoke and Stack. You know, throughout this whole time they've been in Chicago or gone for like 7 years. All this time she been praying, cutting roots, doing different things, to where he's actually wearing like a root bag or like a protection bag on his neck. Hasn't took it off. But what does the Bible say about that? Or more so, the book of Enoch. And in the book of Enoch 8:3, when the fallen angels came down to earth, they say Simjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings, right? So they taught mankind how to get acquainted with roots, to put certain spells on people, also to take those certain spells off. They taught them way more stuff like astrology and, you know, different things like that, how to put on makeup, but that's a story for another day. And then guess what? She also gives him the mojo bag again, or she takes it and then, you know, she starts pouring libations on it, doing different rituals, and then even prays to a lesser god or a deity, which is named O'Shea. This is an African folk deity. Dang, time is going by quick, dog. Let me finish this up. An African folk deity. So next, she also says Smoke's real name, whose name is Elijah. So Elijah was a Hebrew prophet who called down fire. If you saw the end, what happened to the head demon or vampire? Boom, fire was called down on everybody, but that's neither here nor there. So Elijah, Hebrew prophet who called down fire, rebuked kings and didn't die, was taken up. Name means Yah is my God. And just imagine at the very end, he took off that protection bag that was dealing with witchcraft, and, you know, kind of like he had a new protection, aka the Most High. So that's a powerful spiritual meaning. Smoke represents the voice of righteousness throughout this movie. Now, also, here we go. Fast forwarding, the demon enters Earth. So a man falls from the sky, literally out of nowhere, falls from the sky, right? And he's burning. Looks like Luke 10:18, where he said, I beheld Satan as lightning cast and fall from the heavens. He begs, so this guy that came down begs to stay at a house, right? Kind of like a house in the middle of nowhere, like Courage the Cowardly Dog. You had a family of two, right? So he begs their household and he offers them gold. What's wild is demons will use any type of temptation to gain entry. And what's even crazier, the Indians come and they arrive and they try to warn the lady. They say that this man is not what he seems. Do not let him in. And God forbid that you let him in the house. However, the lady is hard-headed. She refuses the warning and she pays the price later on. Now I'm gonna be real with you. Indians are very spiritual people. So the most time and time again, the Most High sends, you know what? I'm gonna keep all of that for the other video. I'm on the time frame. I'm just gonna read what I got here, the shorter version. Let's go fast forwarding to the music, seduction, and flames. So you see the scene transitions to the juke joint opening. Everyone is drinking, gambling, smoking, dancing on the Sabbath, right? And what's wild is the married woman who was at the train comes back again, and now she's flirting with Sammy. Well, Sammy is finally introduced to everybody and he plays a song. And guess what? The song is, he said, I dedicated this to my father. The song that Sammy plays is I Lied to You, a song to his father. The spiritual meaning, rejoicing in rebellion. The lyrics mocks repentance. Then the world straight shift as he's playing, dog, like the and what's crazy is the same opening speech where there's musical talents that can pierce a man's soul, that can, you know, conjure up spirits from the past and the future. That plays again. Yet now we see everything starting to shift. There's more people in the juke joint than it really is. But you start to see, you know, people from the past and the future. You see African dancers, hip hop break dancers, twerkers. You see crip walkers, bloods, Asian geisha dancers, Asian dancers, ballet dancers. You see this African dancer that got a mask that be wearing all like the little fur or costume that be dancing around and, you know, moving everywhere. You see all of this. Plus the music is starting to change throughout different genres and eras, showing you how music has been around for decades, influencing different things, right? Then what's even wilder is the roof starts to catch fire. Ashes fall down on Sammy and everybody else while he's playing. They are literally dancing in hellfire. The whole building burned down, metaphorically, and they're just dancing and singing in the fire. But guess what? Guess who is standing on the outside? Because they were drawn to the vampires or the demons, right? So enter the vampires. Vampires approach the juke joint. They ask to come in, but demons need permission before they can actually enter your temple. So guess what? The song that they play to prove that they're cool and legit is Pick, Pour, Robbin', Clean. Now the spiritual meaning of that song, it's a blues song, but it's about stripping someone bare. Spiritually, it's robbing innocence. And then Smoke says no. Like we said, Smoke is the voice of reason and wisdom in this. Stack and Mary, the white girl who, you know, he was with, they want to let them in. Then just saying, like, once she go out and try to talk to them, they're playing another song, but they're really presenting themselves as, you know, sweet and kind, but they are wolves in sheep's clothing, which goes back to Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravaging wolves. So the song that they were, and then after Mary gets turned, right, you know, because she wanted to go out there and disobey what wisdom said, then she gets turned. Well, they come back in and they're playing this song called Pale Pale Moon, which as the married woman is singing on stage, dancing around, gyrating, dancing very seductively in like an Illuminatic ritual. I promise you, if you look that dance up and look at Beyonce, I'm pretty sure she's done certain things like that. I got 5 minutes left. Let's see if we can go ahead and knock this out in 5 minutes. So the song sounds like they're saying Hell Devil, Pale Moon, which means hidden danger, night deception, satanic undertone. They're also playing a song, Will Ye Go, Lassie Go. That song meaning is Irish, about persuasion, symbol of surrendering to temptation. They also play another song which is called Rocky Road to Dublin. And that song meaning has a chaotic Irish folk song, which just means descending into sin. Next, we see after Mary turns Stack, you know, she kills him and turns him into one of her. We see Smoke unload 2 full clips, bop, 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 2 full clips into her. She gets up, laughs, and runs away. So I'm just letting you know, in Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. Then we have 2 Corinthians 10:4. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You're not going to be able to kill them with regular human weapons. Then it says 2 Corinthians 6:14, what fellowship hath light with the darkness? That's foreshadowing to something different. But then the voodoo lady, we're gonna call her that for time being, says that Mary is a haint. Well, a haint in Southern folklore just means a malevolent spirit which must be blocked from entry, associated with doors, bottles, and rituals. Then you have the final warning in symbols. Cornbread leaves, right, and he gets turned, but he returns asking for permission to enter, proof he's been turned. But just think, big old Cornbread he was guarding the door. He was able to come back and forth this whole time. So now fast forwarding, we see that Stack is now turned, and Stack is trying to manipulate Smoke emotionally. You know, demons know what makes you tick. He's trying to play on his heartstrings and everything. Next, we see that they use garlic to, defend themselves. So I had to find out what's the spiritual significance of garlic, wood, silver, and even sunlight, because these are all things that kills vampires or demons in this scenario. So garlic, purification; wood, the cross or Christ's sacrifice; silver, betrayal. That's the same thing that Judas actually had. So it's piercing truth. sunlight, Christ's truth, cleansing. Like John 8:12 says, I am the light of the world. Then you have the demonic seduction. The vampire says, to Sammy, right, the head vampire, fast forwarding, he says, your music can conjure spirits from the past and the future. And what's wild is as he captures Sammy, he's standing in the water, kind of baptizing Sammy, but it's in reverse in a sense. And what's crazy is Sammy, as this is happening, starts to say the Lord's Prayer. So what's crazy is Satan, or that demon, knows the Lord's Prayer. Who knows the Bible better than Satan? Like even in Revelations 12:4, this dude starts saying the Lord's Prayer, and his legion of vampires or legion of demons starts saying it, walking up behind him. In Revelations 12:4, it says his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. What's also wild is the head demon or the head vampire says, a man came and stole our land, promised heaven above and hell below, twisting the truth like Satan always does. The revelation that I give you about that man was Christ. Because think about it. This movie came out during Easter weekend, right? Christ died and rose again. But as he rose, he took the keys of hell, meaning Satan no longer had dominion and, power on the earth. So that is the man who stole the land, who promised heaven above and hell below, and man having dominion over fish and beast. And then fast forward and we got the final scene. Smoke actually saves Sammy. The sun rises and the demons burn. Like I said, Smoke was their voice of reason and wisdom. And what's crazy is after everything that has just went down, all this debauchery, dang, so the library is closed. Let me finish this up. Sammy is clutching the broken guitar, right? So let's go to Proverbs 26:11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. That's Sammy right there. Later on, we see Smoke takes off the voodoo bag and he chooses the Most High. He doesn't need that protection of roots anymore. We also see Sammy drive off to Chicago against Smoke's will, still continuing in his sin. And then it shows him 60 years later, he still wakes with night terrors. But what's wild, he said that was the best night of my life. Then Stack and Mary appear unchanged, still as demons, offering Sammy eternal life. We know only God can offer eternal life, not demons, not music, not sin. So the closing message is Sammy never let go of the guitar. And what's wild is the same applies to us. What sin are you still clutching long after God told you to drop it? Choose this day whom ye will serve. Will you keep dancing with the flames like Sammy did, or will you choose to serve the Most High? So overall, y'all, that's my full spiritual breakdown of the movie Sinners. I know it was fast. I didn't really have much time, and I'm gonna do a different one with everything that I saw and wrote down on my 21 pages. I'm gonna incorporate a lot of this from ChatGPT, and then I'll also put in visuals, so to make it a little bit more entertaining. But I just wanted to bring that to y'all. This is your boy Ken Dole signing out. I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Deuces.